Welcome to Jurassic World.
Welcome to Jurassic World Minute Movies. Jurassic World, 1 minute at a time. Did anyone leave the barbecue running? I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And on this episode, we're discussing minute 96 of Jurassic World. Before we get to that, David, Owen takes a bit of a fly here after Charlie's explosion this minute. And, of course, we've all seen movies where the movie explosions are that big fireball that isn't necessarily how explosions work. And unfortunately for Owen, being thrown through the air after Charlie explodes, it probably would have done a little bit more damage to him than what we see in the film. I've got two articles up here, one from the CDC and another one from Gizmodo, just talking basically about movie explosions and that sort of thing. You see them in any action movie, and as they say here, it's why we go to the movies to see these big explosions, not necessarily realism. Any 80s fans would know what that is, watching some of the old Rambo movies and that, and the more fire you see, Michael Bay, I suppose, as well, the more fire and explosions you see, the more fun you have.
Basically. That's typically the rule, isn't it?
Yeah. And mentioned in the article here, it's not so much the explosion that kills you, it's the change in PSI, air pressure and that sort of thing. You get the rapid expansion of the lungs and that sort of thing, and then the vacuum after it.
Well, as my dad likes to say, it's not the wind that gets you, it's what the wind blows.
Yes.
In this case, it's the shrapnel that from the casing of whatever is exploding is usually what gets you, you know?
Yep. And I think I've mentioned before when we've seen grenades being thrown, that sort of thing, 9 times out of 10 the grenade's got some sort of projectile in it, whether it's ball bearings or anything else like claymores and that. It's the debris and that sort of stuff that is designed to kill you, not the explosion itself. It's just the instigator to get things moving fast at you. But anyway, I've got those two articles up there for a bit of a read if anyone's interested. As it relates to what we see at the end of this minute with the explosion. The second explosion, we talked about all this a couple of minutes ago when they fired at the Indominus. Same thing. She should have leg trauma, at least, from that big explosion.
You're going after her with non-lethals.
We have $26 million invested in that asset. We can't just kill it.
This man are gonna die.
300 meters to the beacon.
You need to call this mission off right now.
You're right on top of it.
Call it off right
You
now.
are not in control here.
Dave, reading in minute 96.
I am.
Alright. Minute 96 of Jurassic World opens with soldiers in the long grass and ends with Owen shaking off pieces of Charlie. As we open on minute 96, the soldiers are slowly walking through the long grass. They're red-aiming lasers swinging left to right as they search for the Indominus. Bit of a nice
They should not
callback.
have gone into the long grass.
No, it is a nice little callback to the Lost World here. Even though these soldiers seem more capable, the outcome is pretty much the same as what we got in the Lost World.
It's a guaranteed bloodbath.
Yep. We get POV from one of the soldiers as it's suddenly taken out by the raptor, and we get that shot of his monitor cut out. And on the monitor you can see the green dots representing the raptors on the little radar there, so I don't know why there's no one in the control room communicating with them to tell them you've got one in front of you, they're all around you.
Interestingly, though, I remember for the shot here with the soldier being dragged away, in the trailer they had not added the CGI raptor, or they removed it so that you wouldn't know what was taking this guy.
Interesting. Well, it's weird the way he's dragged as well, with the raptor standing right next to him. But yeah, it's sort of it's a very reminiscent scene of what we got in the I think it's the human loading screen for the PS2 game Lost World, where you have the person running through the forest and you can see the red dots closing in on them, but you've got that radio chatter of people saying that they're coming for you, and that. So I don't know why. There's no control room chatter here, unless this guy's off comms. But this is G. Batoon, and he is dead. We get a night vision shot of another raptor taking out a soldier from Echo's POV, and all hell's breaking loose, and everyone starts opening fire. Which I wonder how many of them got shot by their own friendly fire when they're just unleashing weapons everywhere. But we get some more of those keyboard raptor shrieks, and the POV of another soldier as he's firing on an approaching raptor, and it just makes me want a Jurassic first-person shooter. That's a lot of this scene, a lot of the POV we're seeing here is a lot of what you would have got with a Turok or that Jurassic Survivor if it was ever made. And that's when we got that shot of another soldier being taken down, dragged through the grass, screaming. Interesting, you can see the raptor walking along beside him. So I don't know if one raptor's dragging him and another one's running alongside, or how the mechanics of this are working. Unless the raptor's just got his leg and dragging him away, Halloween style. Because it is a weird one. I don't see the raptors just dragging away aliens, or even alien style, taking them back to the nest for the Indominus.
Yeah, this one I think is just more they're getting to kill for the fresh meat for the first time, and they're just enjoying it. You know, like as Hoskins put it earlier, fox in a hen house.
Yeah, they're getting to taste something other than pig. Which we sort of were alluded to earlier, that you ever wonder why the last guy was replaced at the raptor pen as a handler, if they've tasted human before and love it. But we do cut back to Hoskins standing in the control room listening to the screams over the radio, and he sort of looks up at the main display, the main screen, and fear, anguish, uncertainty, or he realises that this is all gone to hell. And on that screen, you can see one of the soldiers screaming up at the camera, being mauled by one of the raptors. I'm guessing it's Echo as well, because that seems to be where all the camera feeds are coming from, is Echo. But they're watching all this carnage in real time, watching people die and get eaten. And that's when he turns and leaves the control room. So he's off to do something. We don't get to see that for a couple more minutes. But we cut back to Owen as he's slowly moving through the long grass. It's his turn now, and you can hear the raptor eating someone, but there's no longer any gunfire. It sounds like everyone that's had weapons has either gone or stopped firing for some reason. And that's when he turns and sees that wiggly tail above the grass as Charlie dines. We sort of mentioned in the last couple of minutes about the raptors having stiff tails when they're running, but here we got sort of that Lost World shot of the wiggly tail above the grass.
Yeah, I thought that was very reminiscent as well. Definitely. So you can take the raptor out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the raptor.
Yeah. But Owen starts to lower his gun as she lifts her head up to look at him, and the two have a moment. It sort of cocks its head, waiting to see what his next move is, and Owen just sort of looks there, wondering what her next move is going to be.
Did I do good, Daddy? Did I kill the bad people?
I wonder if he's still got his clicker in his pocket. Or if there's any way he could have tried to save, or what his plan is here, if he's just waiting to see if she's going to attack him or not.
That seemed to be the plan, yeah. Like, is she going to come after me, or am I going to have to shoot her? Or is this going to be a clever girl moment?
Well, he starts to lower his weapon, so he's trying to show that he's not a threat. We know from Barry next minute that Barry doesn't want to shoot the raptors either. He knows they're only doing what the Indominus has told him to do, or what have you, and doesn't want to injure him. But unfortunately, we don't get a chance to see what either outcome Would be because one of the soldiers has a different idea, and you can suddenly see that streak of orange light behind Charlie as a missile fires through the air and pretty much impacts her directly on her back. And
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, and the explosion sends Owen flying backwards, and chunks of raptor and debris falling all around him. We mentioned earlier the impacts of explosions. He seemed to be a good distance away, so he probably would have the ringing in the ears and that, but
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be too bad.
I was gonna say I don't think that he's gonna be actually getting thrown from the explosion like that, you know.
It was behind Charlie as well, not sort of. So she was sort of shielding him a little bit when she went kaboom. But as the minute ends, we can hear soldiers calling out, and Owen gets up to his feet and runs. And I didn't notice if he kept his Marlin. We do see it later on in Main Street, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Yeah. So he does keep hold of the weapon there as he tries to run to safety. But that's where this minute ends. Anything else on the explosion? The end of Charlie. We've 4 raptors is now 3.
It's interesting because this is actually the first time we've seen a raptor in this series killed by a weapon, you know?
We've had this discussion. Is this the first dinosaur that's killed by a weapon?
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue because it's the first time on screen, yes, but not because it's somewhat implied by Muldoon's dialogue in Jurassic Park that the raptor, well, not just his dialogue, but but the gunshots as well, that the raptor at the beginning of the first movie was shot and killed.
Yeah, good point, because they are firing the M16 into there as well, so. Yeah, and it's one of those things that sort of elude the series. Yeah, fair enough, Jurassic Park 3, we didn't really have any weapons anyway, so Eric used the last of the gas grenades. They didn't have anything there that they could use to kill the raptors. The Lost World's sort of one thing. We talked about it many times with the hunters, the long grass, and the Tyrannosaur chasing them through the creek bed and that, where all they could do was just fire their weapons in the air and not actually turn around and fire at the animal, more so because of Spielberg's decision and not their ability to use the weapons. But it sort of makes me wonder here too, where yes, the raptors are a danger, but they're also starting to shoot themselves in the foot here by taking them out, because we know they're required to take down the Indominus at the end of the movie. Even though the mission's gone bad here, we're still going to need more teeth, as Gray says later on, and you've just lost a pair of teeth and a couple of clawed hands here as well.
Well, it's interesting because without Blue, Rexy wouldn't have survived to basically push the Indominus towards the Mosasaurus lagoon, where the Mosasaur takes the final bite, you know?
Yep. Yeah, we've got a bit to discuss when we get there, because we lose another raptor as well. We lose the other 2. Looking briefly at novel comparisons, the Indominus is more involved with the hunt here. We get a soldier seeing it and trying to open fire, and then 2 raptors jump in to stop him, and then vice versa. We get a soldier trying to shoot a raptor, and then Indominus comes in and swings its clawed hands and knocks the gun out of his hand and kills the soldier. So a bit more interaction with the Indominus here, helping take out the soldiers and not just leaving it for the raptors to have all the fun. But,
nice.
It would be a little bit cartoony having the Indominus just swipe the gun out of the guy's hand and slash him across the chest and kill him, just especially with how big her hands are. I don't think she'd be that precise.
At the same time, it probably would have been more realistic if the Indominus just slapped the entire guy, but that would probably be almost more cartoony, you know? That'd be a good moment for the Wilhelm scream.
Well, and because it's nighttime too, we've seen earlier in the sort of the darker jungle when the first ambush happened that she was using her tail to throw ACU personnel away. Here, people just got thrown off into the darkness, and it would have been a bit ambiguous whether they were alive or not. Even, yes, you're getting impacted by her tail or her clawed hands, you know, you're not getting up for that for a while, but it's sort of the shame, even though they got that moonlight coming through, we are still pretty dark here and hiding some of the gore, because, again, like you said before, it's the first time we've seen an animal death on the screen. it's not the first time we've seen people dead on screen, but the implication that these video feeds are looking straight beside the animal's head as they're chomping down on soldiers.
Mm.
Even though we don't get to see a lot of it, it is pretty dark for the film. It's just not not a soldier getting taken down behind the long grass like we see in Lost World. But that's it for novel comparisons. Anything else on 96 before we get out of here today?
No, I think we're good.
All right, lovely.